Well, there are a lot of good stories around this CFL about players getting involved in the community, and one of them is out in Edmonton, in St. Albert, Alberta, just north of Edmonton. In fact, it involves Craig Ellis and what he's doing with a bunch of youngsters who love to play football.
There are many faces to Craig Ellis. One is intense, excitable, and maybe outrageous at times. A football player with a mission to prove he can still play the game, and he's doing exactly that. He's the Eskimos' leading receiver and one of the best in the league. What is surprising, though, is the 28-year-old came to the Eskimos camp as a running back. That's the position he'd played for most of his career.
I wish I could have played slot back my whole career. I think it would add another 10 years in my career. You know, me just catching the ball and getting hit by the little DBs, you know, that's a lot better than running into some guys like, you know, Brent Toast Williams or Juice Manions or Braswell or Bass. So, you know, if I didn't have to run against James Curry for about 5 or 6 years, I think I could be a little bit healthier.
Craig Ellis's career looked to be over last year. He couldn't find work. He'd already played in Calgary, Saskatchewan, and Toronto. It was either with the Eskimos or retirement.
The way my career went, you know, I was always bouncing around the team, and then finally went down to the National Football League. And being away from the family and being away from my wife, then I kind of got to the point where, you know, I started settling down here in St. Albert. I was working with Paramount Signs, and, you know, I started laying roots down, and it was just, you know, and then the new addition to the family, you know, Brittany, you know, being born, it was hard for me to say, hey, if I have to, I'll go, you know, away and be away from the family, because right now is the important years to be with the family. So if it would have been here or nowhere, I think, yeah.
This is another face of Craig Ellis. He's coach of the Palmer 49ers. It's a Bantam team in St. Albert, an Edmonton area city he's lived in since 1982. This is his second straight year coaching the 49ers. Last year, he was Coach of the Year, taking his club to the city finals.
My motto is there's no such thing as can't. You know, all you have to do is say, I try, and I'll love everything that you do. You know, when you say you can't do something, that's already a strike against you. And the kids developed that model very well. And, you know, I asked little kids, probably be only 13 years old, probably going to weigh 120, 130 pounds, can you balk this big guy? And they say, I'll try. And I say, that's all I wanted to hear. And, you know, a kid that says that to me is going to be a kid that's going to play for me.
These youngsters have a lot to learn about the game of football and life. Ellis's advice speaks of experience.
You just got to be patient and never quit. Always strive for the highest goal that you make for yourself, and just be patient, because if you don't quit, you always achieve your goals.
Craig Ellis certainly is a refreshing story, isn't he? Especially in this day and age of all you hear about professional athletes is the big money contracts they want, take. Ellis realizes what he's got from the game of football, and all he's trying to do is put something back. Ken Chilliback for the CFL Report in Edmonton.
Nice story, Kenny. Thank you.